Mystic ancient secrets can all be answered when you ask the mystic access guru. That is I, the great exalted one. I have come across 3 astral projections through the god plane in the hero metamorphosis to give you the knowledge you deserve.
Hello. Hey, Cygnus. Hey, Stanley. Hey, Lindsay. How you doing? We have a, we're going to talk about, let's see, what am I doing? Yeah. Got a couple things. We have some videos by a guy named Daily Corvid. We have a few videos by Pig Fker Oink. And just a few topics. So, let's see. Yeah, let's start here. So this is a big pig slapper proves flat Earth.
Good morning and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. We return with a little bit of fun, the Flat Earth £1,000 Challenge. Apparently we have someone who claims to have solved it, so I shall be sending them £1,000 just as soon as we check the workings out of this equation and the...
Yeah, he's still around. See, is that the one I want to do first? Hold on. Where is it? This is the one I want to do first. Actually, I'm trying to do some order to this thing. He has a challenge, a £1,000 challenge to any flat earther that can explain how gravity isn't the thing that pulls things down to the earth.
Adam, this...
So we'll, here's his response to, Adam.
This is specifically for you. I can't be bothered to have the text conversation with you because you're just not honest. You are literally... Do you remember I used to describe Muslims who attacked me on my channel with lies? I used to just say, just block them, they're time wasters, they are not worth engaging with. Unfortunately, Adam, that's how you have become to me. You just waste my time. Why are you putting down comments going, oh, I won't use my huge galactic brain debate skill on you. I'll just talk to you one-on-one like a brother. 1. I said I will debate you if you give me something to debate you on, i.e. make the 5-minute video you claimed was going to be so easy and you would do now. You said that like 4 months ago. Make the video with your explanation in it, and like I promised, I will debate you on the 5-minute channel. I said I'll debate you and Flatzoid and 100 nearest mates that you can find. If you make...
Yeah, see, they want to debate something, but they don't want to prove that they're worthy of debating. Hey, Mr. Matbat. It's like fucking, Sovereign, SSUM. Fuckers like, come on the show, man, let's talk. Well, you provide evidence of what your claim is, and I'll come on and talk to you. Oh, I don't have to prove anything to you. Well, then you don't get to fucking have me on your channel, then. They're ridiculous.
Make the 5-minute video, that's what the debate will be about. Have you made the video, Adam? No, you have not. So there is nothing to debate with you. I'm not going to come on your channel and just have a 4-hour waffle stream and listen to you reel off a bunch of nonsense, which is what you are currently preaching. It's not...
Right, that's what they do. They don't have any evidence. They just want to say how much they hate reality and how much they don't like NASA and how much that we have the burden of proof. It's just funny as shit. Hey, Lindsay.
Christian, it's blasphemous nonsense.
Why does it always put top chat? I want live chat. Oh, is the dumb fuck here? Okay.
Anti-science, pseudo...
There, let's give him a wrench so he doesn't get timed out, because his idiocy is just so much fun to watch.
garbage crap that I won't have anything to do with. And then you're like, oh, come on, let's just talk to each other like brothers. I seem to remember the last thing you said to me was that's what you said to me last. What was it I said to you before that, Adam? I'm not going to repeat it on here because it was private, but you know what I said to you was absolutely 100% true. So let's get this straight. You're not too busy.
Did Adam the Christian tell someone to fuck off? Oh, that's weird.
You haven't been busy for the last 4 months. You haven't made the video because you don't know how to, because you have made a claim you cannot substantiate with evidence. Don't try and
So what is this dumb fuck? I'm not even watching the chat here. Thought this was Flatzoid's channel? No, this is not Flatzoid. What gave you that impression, you dumb fuck? Why didn't the loser let me know the video? What are you fucking talking about? I don't answer to you, asshole. What the fuck are you talking about? Physics constant, Sean. Is physics constant? Yes, physics is constant. Yes, there are constants in physics. I claim physics is constant. Constant isn't a word. Let's discuss it, Sean. You couldn't discuss anything, man. You don't know anything. You don't know anything to discuss. Why the fuck would I want to discuss anything with you? Prove your flat earth, motherfucker. Then we'll discuss something. But you can't. You can't present a navigable map, a model that you can predict occurrences by, and measurements of your flat earth. You present those, and I'll consider debating you.
tell me you've been too busy in 4 months to put a 5-minute video together when you've done like 27 hours of waffle streams on your channel, plus you've done 3 on Flatzoids.
See, you're just like Adam, Pig Fker. You don't want to present evidence. You just want to get on and waffle. You just want to talk about how much you don't like stuff. No, I don't work like that, man. Hey, Ender, how's it going, man?
You are not too busy. You just cannot do it. So stop believing your own hype and hubris and fess up to the problem here, which is you made a claim which is false and you cannot substantiate it with evidence when tasked to, which is why you don't want to make the video for me. That's why I asked you to make the video. If you can prove it, then do it. I even said I'll give you £1,000. We both know you're never going to get that £1,000 because you can't. Not because you're too busy, not because you've got huge debate skill and you're just generously not doing it to save me blushes. It's because you physically cannot. So stop wasting my time, bro. I've had about enough of it. I've had it up to here with your false preaching, your hypocrisy, your gossiping behind my back, your division that you're sowing in the group, your blasphemy, and your attitude suck.
Prove the distances are... We don't have to. Don't have to. It's already been measured, man. Prove the distances aren't correct. Prove your earth is flat, dumb fuck.
By the way. Oh, someone, I'm not going to name who it is. He said, oh, someone attacked me. What makes you think you're indemnified from being attacked, Adam, when you're constantly attacking other people subversively between the lines? You don't even have the balls to say outright what you mean. Then when you...
Yeah, he's nailing him. Prove the distances are correct? Huh. Biblical trees? What the fuck are you talking about, dipshit? Biblical tree? Oh, yeah, he thinks that mountains are trees. Pig Fker here thinks mountains are trees, ancient trees, because he's fucking stupid.
You get backed into a corner with your own...
Oh, my God.
We say to you, prove what you're saying. We task you for evidence and you can't supply it. You run away back to Flatzoid like he's your little wife or something. It's pathetic. You're a hypocrite. You're pathetic. Your work sucks. Your channel means nothing. Your gospel is terrible, by the way, and you're a blasphemer. And none of this would matter. The only reason this matters is because you started spreading all this false nonsense and putting garbage.
Anyway, that's him taking care of Adam. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Adam, Flatzoid, Pig Fker here, they're all blasphemers. They're all blasphemers. They claim that God created the earth, but they blaspheme his creation by limiting it to a mud pie with a dome over the top of it, with nothing else out there, because they're insecure. See, they don't want to be this insignificant thing, speck of matter flying through the universe. So they lie about God and their God's creation to make themselves feel more secure. They're just nobodies. They're just nobodies.
Between people's ears and then saying it came out of the mouth of God. Now that's not on. I will attack you for that, and it will be fair. So why don't you screw your head back on, stop feeding from the mouth of idiots like Flatzoid, and let him do what he's going to do. By the way, that guy is a fraudster. He only does that whole flat earth shtick so he can sell t-shirts and mugs. He knows that's not true. And he's got you wrapped around his little finger, and you think you got the science, bro, despite the fact you can't even make a 5-minute video in 4 months because you're too busy. It's definitely not because you don't know the science, and there is no answer for me. No, it's just because you're too busy, isn't it? Once again, demonstrating that you are a hypocrite, you are not honest, you are disrespectful, you make false claims that you can't substantiate, and then you have them.
So you couldn't back up your claim here. So you're just a loser, dude. You're a fucking idiotic loser. You don't know anything. You have less than a grade school education. And you think you're smarter than everybody. So you're just another fucking loser.
Balls and a brass neck to turn.
And we're going to show you what kind of a loser this guy is. You should see the fucking comments he's left. Here, let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Show you what's in this loser's brain. Where are we at here? Here we go. This is the shit that's inside of his head, right? Because of his multiple commas, like here, is inappropriate use of hyphens, just his lack of syntax, his horrible punctuation. I said he doesn't know the English language, which he's proving here that he doesn't. So he just starts posting words. I guess he saw Gallagher once, and he thought that was some pretty profound shit. But let's see if we can go back a little further. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Oh, yes, for some reason he's calling me and Flatzoid Laverne and Shirley for some fucked up reason. I don't know why. But, yeah, he's like a fucking child. He's like a goddamn toddler. He's just as smart as a toddler. And, yeah. Here we go. You can't see that. I don't know why it keeps taking me back to the same fucking thing. I don't know. Anyway, you can find them if you want to see them. They're just hilarious. He doesn't know how to use proper punctuation. He thinks he's breaking some fucking rules and he's some kind of fucking some trendsetter by proving that he's fucking dumber than dog shit. Hey, and fornicated.
The explanation that goes with it. So, let's have a look at the background of the challenge and the man who claims to have solved it. I'm your host, Daily Corvid. Let's get stuck in.
Flat Earth Challenge. Make a video how objects free fall without the aid of gravity.
Yep.
No.
Let me just fetch my bank card. I mean, this one's looking terribly hopeful, wouldn't you agree?
We're to send and you're going to have to ship it international, It'll have to be shipped across the waters.
Fortunately, us scientific types have far more modern and advanced techniques of distributing our wealth.
So Pig Fker thinks that if you want to send someone money, you have to ship it. Yeah, that's how fucking dumb he is.
Well, this is exciting, isn't it? Just think of what scientific benefits your genius mind can bring to our species as a whole. Just imagine it. May I present to you your flirting champion, Big Pig Slapper Oink number 2. So, ignoring the oddities of his profile, let's get down to business with his equation and his workings out.
A is the air molecule. That's the less than sign. Air is weighs less than the TP. That's the toilet paper molecule. Times the action equals TP falls at a greater rate than the air molecule.
Oh my god, this is hilarious. Holy shit, dude, you're funny as fuck.
There's my equation. Yeah. You wanted the equation?
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Oh, yes, I see. That is absolutely enthralling. What a genius. A is smaller than TP times action equals A is bigger than TP. But can we make sense of this using conventional scientific methods? As you can see here, this is the periodic table of elements. A is absent. There is no A. O is oxygen, that's air, and weight...
Yes, TP is for toilet paper. He thinks toilet paper is a molecule. That's what he thinks. He's just that fucking retarded.
is a function of gravity. This really is fascinating, but please explain to me how this works.
I've explained that. See? When you drop something heavy, it falls. The weight of the object is heavier than the air around it.
Good,
Good, you believe in gravity, because that's what gives things weight. Gravity, dipshit. Congratulations.
understand how gravity works then. Because you need gravity in order to calculate weight.
Like,
yeah.
If I drop this lighter, it's heavier than the air. See, watch. Quarter, same thing. Piece of toilet paper, same thing. See, the air in my hand weighs nothing. This weighs, I can feel this in my hand.
That air weighs nothing? No, that air weighs 14 pounds per square inch. That's how much that air weighs. So goddamn you're dumb.
I can't feel the air in my hand.
Holy fuck.
Congratulations, you've just proven that you understand gravity, and that gravity and weight is the reason why your objects are falling down. So I guess the only question left to resolve is why you think proving gravity is a way to disprove gravity. And I think if we examine your table of elements, we might find ourselves an answer. You have a tissue, possibly for your nose, white marks upon the table, a coin for crushing a block, a lighter for applying heat, keys for visiting a friend, a phone for making the video but a second burner phone for some other reason, a caffeinated hot drink and some small white crumbs upon the table, along with yourself.
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs.
According to Blue Crest Drug Recovery Centre, cocaine use is very dangerous to your mental health, and the side effects can include anxiety, delusions, hallucinations, and confusion. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind.
Oh, it's not gravity. That means No, it means this has more weight than this air molecule I'm holding right here. See that air molecule I'm holding? Well,
Yeah, because of gravity. See, gravity is the force that gives it weight.
there's probably a few of them. That air molecules weigh less than this.
And if air molecules weigh less than toilet paper, and this is the reason they drop, that requires gravity, doesn't it? So well done, you have successfully proven that you require gravity just as much as the rest of us. Congratulations, you have just discovered that gravity is real by way of your own observational experimentation. And now it's time to retract your claims. Unfortunately, therefore, your equation and your method is a failure, meaning you win exactly £0. But I'll wish you better luck next time when you take on the Flat Earth £1,000 challenge. Oh, but it's so sad having to give you the bad news.
Damn it! It never gets any easier!
So, now that we've concluded both of us proving that gravity is real, I will let you crack on with whatever it is you are doing. And for the rest of us, I hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something. God bless you all, and I'll see you terrific and very intelligent round earth believing people in the next one.
So, yeah. Here's the next one. You got 3 or 4
Good
by
morning and
Corbett.
welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Whoa, what a night. So we return to the Flat Earth deception, the Flat Earth fraudsters. Today I want to speak to you about God's own law. No, I'm not talking about the law of the Bible. I'm talking about the law of the physical world, the law of reality, the laws of physics. How would life look without those laws if we start breaking things like gravity? I'm your host, Daily Corvid. Let's have a look. Unfortunately for these Flat Earth fraudsters, this is not the Matrix. In the Matrix, some laws are bent and others...
Actually, that's not what I wanted. Is that it? Fucking close that. So yeah, we've got 4 or 5 from Big Pig Fker. And then we've got one last one from Daily Corvid. It's about an hour. Doing Flatzoid.
You can't. Oh, there it is. It's maxed out.
I'll be right back.
See, there's like 4 lights. You can't see it good on this, but it was back over there last night. Where is it? Dadgummit. There it is. So that's just been hovering there, twinkling. Like I say, it's got one, it's like 4 lights, top, bottom, left, and right. One of them's red. It looks like it's kind of in water, don't it, from my camera. That's as far as I can zoom in. But yeah, what I see with my naked eye is 4 lights. One of them's red, 1 or 2 of them's red, and they're twinkling. We got water up there. There's a ship.
Try and focus your camera, motherfucker. How about that? How about focusing your fucking camera? Why can't flat earthers focus their fucking cameras? You know why? Because they think if it's out of focus, it looks all blobby and then it looks like there's water, that it's shot through water. Because they're dishonest pieces of shit who have to lie and cheat to try and make a point.
That's not right.
What a dumb fuck. I questioned the flat earth. Details directed in description.
Good almost afternoon, globe shields, non-globe shields, flat earthers. Not sure what yours, thinkers. I forgot to do this. I was saving these for all the last. If we're going to get serious about, if you're wanting to be serious and not just some shield or troll on YouTube, you're going to have to accept some stuff here, globe shields. You too, flat earthers.
Yeah, he blocked me too when I suggested that he focus his camera or his lens. And I even offered to send him a free Batinoff mask to help him do it.
There's only one truth. I already got them on the but y'all gonna have to realize if y'all gonna claim science and math
We claim science. I don't know what science is. What's science?
Yeah, let me take these off. If you're going to claim science and math, you're going to have to stick with it. You can't fudge your math and your science that you hold so dear as truth when there's too many variables in what you say. Because let me get rid of that. Is that same size? Yeah, same size. Now, if you know anything about water, physics of water, put that one up there. That's a good one. All right, let's put that one up there. If you know anything about science, you know, and math, you can't deny science and math. Simple as that. Simple.
Yeah, you can't. Unless you're a fucking liar and a fraud and a dumb fuck like you. See, you deny science. You think you know more than science does, or all the scientists do, or all the science teachers do, or all the science professors do, or all the PhDs who've studied for decades to get their PhD do. See, you're an arrogant piece of shit, Pig Fker, and you don't know anything.
Simple as that. You know? Um,
Yeah, water physics.
I'm going to do it this way, get them up there so I can quit focusing on that, because we're going to be looking at them here in just a second. Now, listen to the globe shields, listen to the flat earthers. Y'all don't like it because you can't handle it. I'm saying that humbly.
Mm.
Say,
Yeah, we can't humble the lies that he puts down. Jesus Christ, you can't handle it. What an arrogant piece of shit.
that humbly. But let's look at the facts. Now, flat earth.
Let's look at the facts. The Earth is an oblate spheroid of approximately 3959 miles in radius. Space is real. We've been to the moon. We've been to other planets. We have probes in space at this moment heading to outer space, to like deep space. Gravity is real. That's the truth. Those are facts. Now, what do you have to say? What are you going to lie about and try and represent the truth as?
Let's look at the facts. I'm going to have to refresh. Well, first of all,
No, that's not fact. This is not fact. This is the Bible. The Bible is not scientific facts, stupid. See, this is why you're a loser, and you'll always be a fucking loser.
Genesis 1:7. Okay. After the first day. No.
See, you claim to know science, but you bring an unfalsifiable narrative into a scientific discussion, which is against science. So you're just proving that you're a fucking retard.
Darkness he called night, and evening he called the morning. We're the first day. And God said, Most High, here's Jesus. That's the way I'm believing it up to this point. I got more anyway. This is Jesus. After it said, God said. So here's Jesus. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
Jesus wasn't born yet. So, yeah.
All right. So Jesus is the spoken word of God. Now, if this is God, and he said this is God speaking, so this is Jesus. And God made the firmament. Must be this is a spirit, because he said it. Here's a spirit working, because it's doing the work. Wouldn't it be more like that? Now, if there's waters up here, as above, repeat with me, as above.
Jesus Christ. So he's just going to fucking talk religious bullshit that has been debunked with science. See, science debunks your idea of God and your idea of the earth. You're an idiot. You believe false things and you lie about them. So, done with that one. Here's his here's his formula.
I know, you probably won't do it since it's separate from the video. Do I need to make them one? A is the air molecule. That's the less than sign. Air is weighs less than the TP. That's the toilet paper molecule.
So where's the variable for weight?
Times the action.
Where's the what gives it the direction, dipshit? Why does it go down? Why not up?
Equals TP falls at a greater rate than the air molecule. There's my equation. You know.
Wow, way to prove that you're fucking stupid. And you actually published this. He published this. I didn't go hack his fucking computer and pull it off. No, he published this. He's proud of this. He's proud of how fucking ignorant he is. It's amazing. It really is. It really is it really is amazing how these people think. They're so proud of their ignorance. They have to boast it all the time.
Here, see, watch. Quarter.
Yeah, we've seen this. Yeah, we already saw this. So you didn't win 1,000 pounds, man. You didn't win 1,000 pounds.
Slinging insults and calling all people all kind of stupid names and all kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm calling you a devil because you've already proven it. Why are you ignoring this?
Call him a devil because what, he disagrees with you? Okay.
I mean, and you take time to call people stupid and you won't let me comment. You know? Yeah,
What do you mean won't let you comment? Did he block you?
Commented on it. Don't have to show you. You know I did because you blocked me. But why are you ignoring facts?
If God set the moon inside the firmament, the atmosphere, why did NASA have to go to space above the firmament to get there? Yeah, good question.
Why are you ignoring questions?
Yeah, why haven't we seen God on his throne?
But resorting to calling people all kinds of wretched, stupid people. Why are you ignoring?
Yeah, I'm looking at these. He isn't calling anybody wretched, stupid people. Are you just inferring that because of your guilt? Is that what you're doing?
Questions from the Bible. You know, why are you ignoring these?
When a person doesn't call anyone wretched and stupid, but you assume they are, that means you're wretched and stupid, and you're taking offense to something that didn't happen. That's what you're doing there, big pig fucker. See, you're admitting that you're wretched and stupid.
Yes, but running back on just wanting to call people stupid, ignorant, all this, and try to mock them. You ain't humiliating me. You're just exposing yourself.
He's not mocking you. He's just giving you facts. So how is he mocking you? My God, you're dumb.
You know? Well, won't you answer? Won't you answer some questions? Instead of running around here with your pride, calling people all kinds of stupid, ignorant, incompetent. You know?
But he's not. You're inferring it because you know that you are.
You don't know a thing about the Bible. You don't know a thing about the Bible. Let's talk. But we know you won't. We know you won't. All you're going to do is continue to talk trash about people.
Such a whiny little cunt, isn't he?
And let them just... All this, yeah. A equals air. TP equals toilet paper. That's explained, you know. But...
Yeah, you lost, man. You failed. You know why you failed? Because you're a failure.
You just want to call people names. And yes, it did.
It doesn't qualify for a video since it does not adequately explain how the items in freefall develop momentum without relying upon gravity. Yeah, you didn't do your job, buddy. You failed.
Qualify as adequately explained how freefall happens. You know, see, I didn't rely upon gravity.
Right. You didn't say why it's not gravity. You just said things fall. That's gravity. That's gravity.
You said I did. No, I didn't. See, that's what I'm saying. Ignorance. 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 Ignorance.
Yes, ignorance. Ignorance. Ignorance.
He said, I have to make them. Well, I did. I ain't listening to this crap.
No, you didn't make a video. No, you didn't.
I know what it is. He said, make an equation. Explain it without using gravity. I did. But, you know. I told him he can't lose this contest. He can't lose this contest.
Right, because none of you motherfuckers are smart enough to win the contest. You just aren't. Of course he's not going to lose it. Same reason as MC Toon isn't going to lose $10,000 to any stupid flat earther who thinks that celestial navigation works on a flat earth. Because there's no flat earth, and celestial navigation only works on a globe. In real life. So yeah, MC Toon is not at risk of losing any money, and neither is Corvid.
I see, and this was the spoiler. I already told him he can't lose the contest.
No, he
'Cause he'll
can't.
just
No, he can't because you're not smart. No flat earther can get away with denying gravity. You just can't. It's an inexplicable or an unavoidable reality.
spout the Jesuit explanation of gravity, even though
The what? The Jesuit? What did he fucking say? What does this illiterate piece of shit say?
I already told him he can't lose the contest. Because he'll just spout the Jesuit explanation of gravity.
Jesuit? What the fuck are you talking about? It's physics, man. It isn't Jesuit. What the fuck are you talking about? Hey, Westside. Yeah, this is big pig fucker oink.
Gravity. Even though I didn't use it, I never mentioned it. I spoke gravity because he would do this. But he said for me to do it. I did it. But yet he's saying you can't do that. Well, why not? I followed your rules. You use gravity.
And you failed. If I ask you, give me a formula for 4, and you say 87 plus 95 equals 4, you're going to lose. I don't give a fuck if you showed a formula. Your formula's wrong, and you lost. Cope.
No, I didn't. I used the weight of the object. Well, that's gravity. No, it's not. He can't lose. Court of law, he would, but
No, he wouldn't. Hey, take him to court. Take him to court, please. Please present your formula for gravity. Please. I'm begging you.
you're exposed, dude. You're exposed.
This is fucking a loser.
I want you to quit calling people names. I want you to have a serious discussion with somebody that actually you're avoiding. You're avoiding questions.
Have a serious discussion with a person who thinks toilet paper is a molecule? It can happen, man.
Just so you can call people stupid, ignorant, incompetent, morons, all kinds of names. You're a godly man, ain't you?
What a loser. What a massive fucking loser. And that was his equation. All right. Now we have Daily Corvid. The downfall of Flatzoid. Oh, by the way. This thing came from Laser Tree. Up. Sorry. There you go. That's better. There's the instruction manual. Power cord, power cable, data cable. Got screws and shit. Here's the mounting bracket for it. This is the other half of the mounting bracket. This will go, this mounts to the laser, and then this mounts to the mount. So this goes to the machine, and then you can mount the laser. Oops. It's a dovetail. It's like a dovetail. So it can't slide off. So when I'm ready to use the laser, I slide it on, adjust the height using, depending on what I'm doing, using these. These are, this is 3 millimeters, and there's a 2 millimeter and a 1 millimeter. So you put this under the laser. You slide it up and down till the tip of the laser just sits on that card. Tighten it up, and we're ready to go. Here's the control board. That's needed. And, god damn, this thing is really packed. This thing's packed very well. And here it is. There's the front. It's got a cooling fan to keep the electronics cool. It's got an air nozzle for the air assist. This is a laser shield, so it goes on with magnets. It's pretty slick. Keeps the laser from bouncing around and hitting your eyes. But yeah. So that's the module. Very cool. Yeah, my eyes. Yeah, would not be a fun thing to get hit in the eye with. I mean, it will cut wood like clean with no jagged edges. So I will put this away later. But yeah, that's it. And I'm printing up new and improved mounts for the bracket. So anyway,
Good morning, ladies, gents,
back
and
to the
Pikachus.
show.
Welcome back to another YouTube drama. So I thought, right, I've had enough of this flatzoid dude and the other flat earth morons, and I wanted to conclusively stomp all over this ridiculous pseudoscience-led notion that gravity is not real and the earth is flat, when it clearly is real and the earth is round. So let's delve into some of the details and look at the evidence. I'm your host, Daily Corvid. Let's have a look. And before we start, I should just probably tell you, despite what it may look like, that's not the reason I made this video.
Don't say revenge. Don't say revenge. Revenge? That's it. I'm getting out of here.
The reason I put this video together is a gift to YouTube, so that if Flatzoid or any of these other flat earth ignoramuses want to argue the existence of gravity, rather than waste your valuable time, you can just send them to this video here. Okay, let's get started. So this is the video Gravity Debunked in a 5-minute challenge by Flatzoid Perspective and his wife, Here I Am Lord Send Me. So the original challenge was to Here I Am Lord Send Me, who I'm going to address with his real name, Adam. And the reason I issued this challenge to Adam is because he was constantly interrupting our prayer group, Christian Chat, and dominating it with false science, claiming that gravity was not real and that this was actually biblical.
Where's Wally Laser? I don't know. I don't know. Does Wally have a laser? I don't know.
Which of course it is not.
Oh, you don't want to know what I really think.
So let's hear what he has to say.
A fiber laser. It's probably CO2. It's probably a CO2 laser shot through fiber optics. Which that's about the best way to do it. But yeah, a CO2 laser will cut really well.
Can you disprove gravity in 5 minutes? Why a pen drops on the floor?
Straight away he's managed to cock it up. That actually wasn't the question I asked.
Cosby's first law of intergenerational perversity. No matter what you tell your child to do, it will always do the opposite. Huh? Don't you get it? You gotta use reverse psychology. That sounds too complicated. Okay, don't use reverse psychology. All right, I will.
So what we're going to do now is go back to my old videos. Flat Earth. And we're going to look at the actual question that I asked.
I'm not much of a Simpsons fan, but they do have some funny jokes on there.
Asked him, which was on the 5th of November. Now, keep in mind, the original question was from January, 11th of January. This is when I first asked him. He deleted all his comments from that video to try and hide the fact that he said he was going to answer it in a day. So I asked him again on the 5th of November and gave him 365 days to produce a 5-minute video described in this one here. So let's watch that. Challenge. I will give anyone who can successfully complete this challenge £1,000 in cash, no questions asked, if you can prove to me that the reason this pen is not going to drop off these books when I apply force to it is not gravity. If you can demonstrate that factually in a 5-minute video using nothing but straight science and show your equation that demonstrates what you're saying to be true. So, this is what I think. This is a pen. It is an inanimate object. It has no propulsion, it has no means of movement outside of me applying a force to it. The reason why when I push it this way and it reaches the edge of this Bible it's going to drop down is because gravity is going to pull it down. Like that. If you can explain that without using gravity and by showing your equation, and you can do this in a 5-minute video, I will give you £1,000 and I will delete all my videos about gravity. Because they will obviously be wrong.
It's better to remain silent and be thoughtful than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
What does that mean?
So as you can see there, the original question was not please disprove gravity, because that would be a ridiculous question that nobody will ever do because gravity is a real thing. My question was, if you don't have gravity, how can you explain the downward movement of that pen dropping off the Bible? And I gave my equation here, which explains why that happened. And if you're not seeing gravity in there, that's because gravity is within this bit here, velocity over time. Force halved plus velocity over time plus height of object equals height over time. That's how we know this pen is going to fall down, and using this equation we can accurately predict the speed it's going to drop and the distance it's going to drop before it comes to rest on the table.
Yep.
Using gravity. So with that in mind, let's go back to Flatzoid's video and see what his answer to this question is.
Do you wait until you cleared your mouth?
Yeah, clear your mouth, Flatzoid, because you're going to be stuffing it full of humble pie in about 8 minutes' time.
Okay, on your marks. Get set, go.
Displacement ratio.
Displacement ratio, ladies, gents and Pikachus. That is what we have waited 5 months in order to hear him say. The answer to the conundrum of gravity, if you don't have gravity, is displacement.
Displacement
But can we
ratio.
prove this to be a lie? Can we prove this to be wrong with one of my previous videos? I
Yes.
think we can. Oh, look at that. Displacement, flat earth theory number 4 from the 6th of September. Coincidentally, this is the last time I had a civil conversation with Mr. Flatzoid, when he started getting very aggressive after I made this video. So let's have a look at my displacement video. Welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Today we're going to be explaining displacement. Flatzoid Perspective has failed to adequately answer the question posed of him of where the energy required to move an object down derives from. His answer was, and I quote, "It's displacement." And he is refusing to show the equation for this, and that's not good enough. So, let's have a look at this equation for ourselves. So as you can see, this is not a new topic. All the way back on the 6th of September, I actually had a conversation in my comment stream below that video with Flatzoid Perspective, which he has now deleted all the comments from, and so has Adam, in which they both claimed the very next day they'd come out with a 5-minute video, similar to one of these videos here, which demonstrated that gravity was not real, and explaining where that energy to go down comes from. So since they didn't do that, and the one we're looking at now is not going to do that, let's just for our own peace of mind, look at the equation and figure out why displacement is not the reason for the downward motion. So this little chap here, this is the equation which calculates displacement. Notice that the first thing which is required is the force which is denoted by a v. V equals velocity, and this is provided by gravitational pull or something else like that, an external force which is causing the object to not be at rest. And without that, the object would indeed be at rest and it would not therefore be falling. So what that means is this equation is S means the amount of displacement that's happening in your subject matter. So in order to calculate S, you need V. V is the velocity or the acceleration, the movement of the object. And if you don't have any velocity, then you would say S equals 0. Now, you don't need to be a mathematical genius to know 0 plus half of AT squared, no matter what A and T is going to give you a number of 0 or less.
All right, see you later. See you later. Who's leaving? Ender. See you later, Ender.
So you're not going to have any displacement to speak of. So from this simple equation we can figure out displacement does not cause movement. In fact, it removes energy from movement. It resists movement. It slows movement down to a stop. Let's carry on. You wouldn't need displacement. A static object lying on the floor isn't displacing anything. It's not moving. In order for it to displace things, it needs to first move. And in order for it to move, it needs to have energy. And that is why...
What are we doing in here? We're laughing at Flatzoid and Pig Fker Oink, and yeah.
We need V. Velocity is the energy that it is collecting while it's moving. And so we can see here, this equation tells us that the displacement denoted by the S...
How you doing, caller?
S is the velocity force added to half of its acceleration during the time it falls squared. Just so you know, I mean, that's kind of difficult to understand if you haven't studied science. Velocity force added to half of its acceleration during the time it falls squared. The reason that sounds like such a word salad is because that bit plus half AT squared, that's describing a period of time. That's not just one number. Half of its acceleration during the time it falls squared is describing how it's sped up at the beginning and then slowed down to a stop at the end. So it's actually describing a range of numbers, and that's how we know if V equals 0, that range of numbers always equals 0. Therefore we know displacement does not cause movement, and without movement we don't have displacement. So actually it's the opposite of what Flatzoid is saying. Displacement does not cause the downward movement, but the downward movement may well cause displacement, because for one object to displace another, it needs to first be in motion. And that was the original question. How is it in motion and why does it go down? So we move on. That's the first bit of his ridiculous nonsense answered, but I feel like there's plenty more nonsense where that came from. Let's continue.
There we go.
Yeah, hilarious.
You see, it's actually very simple. Let's, for instance, take this little stand for a camera. You would agree that this thing is heavier than the air around it.
Yes, I would agree that your camera stand is heavier than the air around it, but I feel like before we listen to your nonsensical pseudoscience...
And it's also heavier than the air above it, and there's less density of the air above it, so it would be easier for it to go through the thinner air, not the thicker air.
Django terms, we should actually just solidify in our minds how weight is created. So we asked Britannica Encyclopedia, what is weight? Weight. Gravitational force of attraction on an object caused by the presence of a massive second object, such as the Earth or the Moon. Now here's the important bit. Weight is a consequence of the universal law of gravity. I.e., if you have no gravity, you have zero weight. So once again we see Flatzoid's, well, he hasn't actually finished it yet, but what he's about to say is automatically incorrect now, because he's just about to postulate that the weight of this camera stand is going to be the reason why it moves down. Despite the fact that without gravity it does not have that weight, it weighs equally nothing to the air, and therefore in a weightless state it will not have energy to move. But anyway, let's let him carry on digging so he can bury himself in his own ignorance.
Yeah.
And air is unable to support it.
Yeah.
So, if I let it go and nothing can support it, there is only one direction it can go.
This guy is priceless. So what he's saying is, because the camera stand's weight is more than the weight of the air, the only way it's ever going to go is down. Which is how you would describe, in layman's terms, the effect of gravitational attraction. And as we saw with the Britannica Encyclopedia, without that gravitational attraction, you do not have weight. Therefore, your camera stand will not go down. It will stay exactly where you left it. But please carry on. This is very entertaining. Very, very interesting to study the brain of a sub-monkey intelligent human claiming to be a gospel speaker. Please continue.
That's down. Because it displaces the air around it.
It displaces the air around it. Yes, it does. But you have still sidestepped the problem of how it gained its energy to move. Where did that momentum come from, and why did it know to go down?
Also, it's already displacing the air. What is giving it energy to displace other air?
If it's not gravity, that was the original question, and you have successfully failed to answer it. But please, carry on. I have all night. I have the rest of the evening just for you, Mr. Flatzoid, to enlighten people and put a spotlight on how absolutely moronically stupid and ignorant of science you and your little buddy Adam seem to be. Continue.
It's the same as if you go and climb in a swimming pool, you are able to displace your weight so you can float, which they call buoyancy.
So, that's an interesting topic, isn't it? What about buoyancy? What is buoyancy? Not BBC, because I don't like them. Britannica. Buoyancy. Tendency of an object to float or rise in a fluid when submerged. Extremely heavy objects can float in water. See, we have weight again, so we know Archimedes' principle also relies on weight. And if we read down, the concept of forces is used to explain buoyancy. Gravity is a downward force that acts on all objects. When objects are placed in a fluid, the fluid must supply a force equal in magnitude but opposite in direction to the gravitational force for that object to float. That is Archimedes' principle. So I don't know how that proves and demonstrates your point that gravity doesn't exist. It looks like it actually backs up my scientific fact that gravity is the reason why these things happen. Gravity definitely does exist, and the things you are saying further prove that to be the case. But please, continue digging.
Interesting fact, Archimedes' principle predates gravity by 1,900 years.
This is actually true. People didn't use the word gravity in the time of Archimedes. But the word they used is equivalent to the word we use for drop. So in fact, they did have gravity, they just didn't call it gravity, they called it drop.
Weird how that works.
Well, no, it's not weird. If you actually bother to study science and history, you would know Archimedes was well known for his shipwright technology advancements. Shipwright technology advancements like figuring out how buoyancy brings light objects that are full of air to the surface of a body of water, and then they bob along the surface. Now tell me, if there is no gravity, how is there a flat surface of water? Because we know the only reason water finds its level is because of gravity. Once again, we see your ignorance is the only thing in this room that doesn't seem to be affected by any scientific forces.
It's interesting.
So, did we have ships sailing on the ocean before Newton decided to create gravity?
Quote unquote create. Newton didn't create gravity. Newton was trying to explain a well-observed phenomenon of things dropping to the earth, and through his scientific experimentation and his study, he concluded that there must be a downward attraction from the earth consistent with with things falling down, and he worked out that the speed things dropped at was also consistent, and therefore he developed the theory of gravity based on his observations and his science. Now, don't try to tell me, since you've already made like 7 different mistakes, and the original question you couldn't even read it out properly with 2 of you doing it, don't try and tell me that you have outsmarted Archimedes and now also Newton. Next you're going to be telling me that Galileo, Plato, Einstein, none of these guys are as smart as you, correct? And also that Genesis is wrong, because we know Genesis, with God literally speaking, tells us that the earth is round and that it spins. But please, I would love to hear your interesting and intellectual riposte on how gravity is definitely not real. Please continue. Have you ever seen that Churchill insurance advert with the nodding dog toy? It just, for some reason, made me laugh to think of that, because it's like these 2 guys have no clue about what they're speaking. They have no idea of the science of which we are discussing right now. They certainly aren't as clever as these genius minds from the past, Archimedes, Newton and Einstein. And even though I might be an intellectual minnow compared to those guys, these guys are making me feel and look like a veritable genius. Anyway, let's carry on.
Flat earthers have the ability to do that.
They have gravity in the equation.
They absolutely did, but they just called it drop. They didn't know it was gravity, so they called it drop. And we know this for sure because before all this happened, guess what was in existence? A weapon called a trebuchet. Now, if you know anything about war and weapons of war, you will know that a trebuchet is a mechanical object which is like a compound bow enlarged by about 20 times on a set of wheels. And the way that a trebuchet works is you attach weights onto the back of a cogwheel and you angle a very large projectile up slightly so that when you shoot it, it does an arc in the sky and it lands at its intended target in front.
That's not a trebuchet. That is a catapult. A trebuchet is a different animal. Catapult. Trebuchet. See, this is a catapult. Let's see, what is he talking about? He isn't talking about a catapult. Yeah, it's like this. So this is a catapult, right? Like a compound bow. But this is a trebuchet. A trebuchet has rotational speed or rotational power. You bring this arm back to here, right? Or you bring down it as low as it'll go. This weight gives it energy. You load the thing in here and it swings it around. It's more like a slingshot or a sling, like an old sling. That's more like a trebuchet.
Front of you. And the reason they have to angle it upwards is because if you just pointed at your destination and pulled the trigger, it would go directly into the floor and it would never reach its intended target. So whilst it's true they didn't have the word for gravity, We absolutely know for a fact if we look right. In fact, we might as well do it now. Let's have a look on Google. Trebuchet. Trebuchet. A rotating arm with the sling attached to the tip to launch a projectile. So you can see it here. So what it does, this weight here drops down and then the stick goes up. Then the sling goes round and the shot comes out. And they use the calculation of where they're going to place the trebuchet in order to get the rock over the top of a hill to hit an intended target inside a castle. And sometimes you would just use it on troops, but that you couldn't get too near to. As you can see here, it's a torsion-powered weapon. So what that means is you use a spring and a series of pulleys to generate the force that throws the object, and then you expect that it's going to come down equally at its location where you fired it towards. So a trebuchet would not work without using gravity. You would need gravity to design such a weapon as this, would you not? It first appeared in China by the 4th century BC. So even as early as the 4th century BC, in the less well-equipped places such as China, they certainly didn't have the best technology of the time. Even in those places they knew of gravity. But here we are in 2024, and such genius intellectual minds as Here I Am Lord Send Me and Mr. Flatzoid still haven't caught up with the 4th century Chinese. But let's carry on.
This is why we are able to see a cargo ship with thousands of tons floating on the ocean, because it is able to displace based on surface area. It's just got to do with the density ratio to the medium.
So now he's changed his story. A minute ago it was displacement. Now he's saying it's actually the comparable density of the object with its surrounding medium. But once again, I feel like we've tackled this already in a previous video of mine. Can we find a video with a description of how density and viscosity are not gravity? Oh look, density and viscosity. Let's have a look at that. Flat Earth theory number 2, density and also buoyancy. So Here I Am Lord Send Me, my friend Adam, made the claim earlier that rather than gravity giving rise to objects falling down, it is just a natural occurrence based on the viscosity or the density of the given object. So if we correct that question for the medium we're using, can we prove this to be true or is it false? And we need to correct it because the term viscosity applies only to liquids, and since air, the medium we're using, is actually a gas, we would instead say density, and when you put liquid into a gas, it's buoyancy. Yeah, so I mean that was a pretty conclusive description there. But if we just go over it again, what we're saying here is buoyancy only affects objects submerged in a liquid, and since we are not submerged in a liquid when we are living our lives, we're submerged in air, which is a gas, we wouldn't say buoyancy and we wouldn't say viscosity, we would just say air friction or air drag, and we would say density. So density, buoyancy and viscosity. I asked ChatGPT, can density or buoyancy create kinetic movement energy in free-moving objects? ChatGPT answered no. These two things rely on energy created by resisting gravity or external forces such as pushing or fuel. I then asked ChatGPT, can increasing density alone cause an increase in kinetic energy? Can it cause things to move if you change their density? ChatGPT answered no. Objects cannot move without external forces being applied outside of gravity. And so we find that the theory of density, buoyancy and viscosity replacing the force of gravity is false. So that's ChatGPT once again confirming what we know to be true, and my own knowledge of science did also know this to be true. So that's the end of this video. So there you go. And just as an extra bonus, because what happened in September when I first made that video, Flatzoid came back and said, oh no, that's the wrong kind of density. What you actually want is relative density. And I thought to myself, this guy's a snake, isn't he? So I also did relative density, and we're going to look at that now.
Yes, he is a snake.
Relative density. Another flat earth fanatic, whose name I shall keep private, it's Adam, was trying to convince me and some others today that the evidence that gravity is in fact not real is found in the fact that its effect is actually caused by something else entirely. He referred me to Eric Dubois' video entitled Flat Earth Bible FAQ. Keep in mind as well, I don't know why this didn't occur to me when I made this video. They are describing everything that gravity does, and they are just saying, but it's not called gravity, it's called relative density, it's called John. You know, they're just renaming the effect, but they're actually, between the lines, admitting that the effect is observable and that they themselves are confirming that it exists. Anyway, let's go through the equation of why relative density is not a replacement for conventional gravity. This video is a 4-hour slog filled with nonsense poetry and insulting anecdotal fluff. Oh yeah, so feel free, if you want to not take my advice, to go and watch Eric Dubois, or Eric Dubé, whatever his bloody name is, Flat Earth Bible FAQ, which is indeed a 4-hour slog filled with nonsense poetry and insulting anecdotal fluff. Including in the first 45 minutes, he will say, the only people that don't believe in flat Earth are not observably intelligent, they don't have a good set of eyes on them, they are not very well educated, they are brainwashed by NASA lies and governmental educational propaganda, and they are effectively dumb, stupid no-nos. You know, without wanting to swear, they're not very clever people. However, I did actually read through the 4 hours, and in the entire 4-hour video, which is tantamount to smashing oneself on the head with various different sharp implements, I found a single scientific term, and that term is relative density. So that's where he got this from. So let's carry on. However, I did find a single scientific term which I could look up, and I did, and I found something they call RDD. Now, RDD means relative density disequilibrium. So let's have a look at RDD to see if it actually does disprove gravity or not. So before we start, stay with me on this bit, this is really important to know. It is quite wordy, I won't lie to you, but if you want to know the ins and outs of this well enough that you can say, Flatzoid, you are a moron, and know what you're talking about yourself, you 100% need to know this. So, let's go. So, taking a quick look at what relative density actually means, relative density is also called specific gravity and is a dimensionless quantity defined as the ratio of the density of a substance compared to the density of the given reference material. So what he's saying there is relative density, what he's saying, it's me, what I am saying there is relative density, or what it's called in the UK, specific gravity, is a dimensionless quantity. What that means, it's a measurement. It doesn't give...
It's called specific gravity in the United States too.
Give you energy or take energy away. It is a relative count. A dimensionless quantity, so it's like saying this bit here is fat and this bit over here is skinny.
Yeah, Anthony Riley came up with this bullshit.
Or this bit over here is heavy and this bit over here is light. And that gives away what it is used for. What it is used for is measuring the mass of mixed liquids. So say you have a squash and you mix it with water, it's now perfectly mixed. But if you want to count the amount of squash that is in there, you would have to use a relative density equation. So that's what we're going to be looking at now. And remember, if you learn this well enough, even though it's going to be a few minutes of your life, you will be able to clonk idiots like Flatzoid over the head with real, demonstrable, observable, provable, factual science, and put him back in his box where he belongs as an ignoramus idiot. So, let's continue. So those of you who know a little bit about physics can already tell this is extremely similar to the kinematic equation that I gave earlier, which is useful for figuring out the forces of normal gravity. So I'm already quite suspicious that this is actually going to be the same thing with a different letter applied to it. Because, you know, in science you can have a variable, gravity can be g, or you can make gravity s, or whatever you like. So let's have a look at the calculations and those equations. And another wordy, lengthy explanation. And I think this is a tactic. This is definitely a strategy which Flatzoid and other scammers and con artists and fraudsters like him will use. They know that your attention span is very short. And the reason that is because you're busy. You have a million other videos that you want to go and watch, and then you've got to go to sleep, Then you've got to wake up and go to work, and you've got 1,000,001 other more important tasks than reading this. So he is relying on that as a trickster. He's relying on you to skip past this explanation, and then you will just have to accept him on faith of his word. But let's see if he stands up to his word by saying that relative density is a replacement for conventional gravity. And wouldn't you just Adam and Eve it? True specific gravity of a liquid can be expressed mathematically as Sg true equals P sample over P H2O, where P sample is the density of the sample, i.e. the object, and P H2O the density of the water, i.e. the world. So it is the same as our previous example. It's exactly the same as the equation I gave. And I'm thinking, why have they turned V into S at the beginning? It should say volume gravity, but it says S gravity. Oh, I see what they've done here. It explains it. Where G is the local acceleration due to gravity, V is the volume. So because they've got V denoting the volume, V can also denote velocity. So S denotes velocity, and gravity is included. Like, this requires gravity in order to work. See what he did there? He has just given you another equation which has gravity in its calculation. So once again we find this does not disprove gravity. You need gravity in order to use this equation. Let me repeat that. In order to use relative density and have it actually equal more than 0, you need to include actual normal gravity. And we can see it in the equation there. And the reason for that is we're talking about a mixed liquid.
Hey, Dan.
And we know that a mixed liquid will not mix under a condition of not having gravity.
Yeah, we got about half an hour left.
So let's have a look at the equation and bolt this fool down to his ignorance. How do we measure it? So we go down to measurement. Relative density can be calculated directly by measuring the density of the sample and dividing it by the known density of the reference subject. Oh, that's weird. That's exactly the same as the way I was doing it before. That's because it is the same. What I didn't realise at the time is relative density is a metric that is equal to gravity, but it doesn't mean that relative density can replace gravity. That's like saying inches and centimetres are two ways of measuring distance, but you cannot measure anything if you don't already have distance, and that's what's happening here. Relative density is a way of measuring weight of objects under the conditions of mixed liquid in gravity, but you already have to have something to measure. So without gravity, you don't have relative density. So let's have a last finer detailed look at the equation, then we will move on. And remember, if you don't understand this, he will run rings round you with his sophistry. Let's call it sophistry. You know, confusing large words and sentences which he himself doesn't understand. Once again we see gravity. So we cannot calculate relative density, i.e. specific gravity, without also knowing the value of regular gravity. So there you have it. Gravity is clearly in the equation which we use to work out relative density. And once again we know P is going to equal 0 because we'll be dividing by 0 at the end of our equation. Therefore we know density, relative density, buoyancy, viscosity, any of these terms that he has used to try and magic away the effect of gravity, far from proving gravity to not exist, they actually demonstrate that they require gravity to exist themselves.
Tell a lie, tell a lie. Because I have a small role in a Broadway musical. It's not much, but it's a start. Bravo.
So let's get going with the rest of Flatzoid's video.
Even when the Globies try and do experiments, they'd never ever manipulate gravity because you can't manipulate gravity.
So we get to a true fact. I can't believe it. Mr. Flatzoid, you have said one true thing in your entire existence. Yes, this is true. We cannot manipulate gravity. Gravity is a constant force that affects everything in the universe, and there's nothing we can do about it. But surely if gravity wasn't in existence, then we would be able to manipulate it because we could then create something name it gravity, and manipulate that thing. But we can't manipulate and create a thing called gravity because there's already one in existence, and it is the constant gravitational force field surrounding the Earth. But please, carry on. I'm having a lot of fun absolutely eating through your ridiculous nonsense pseudoscience.
The independent variable in a scientific experiment is always the presumed cause that has to be manipulated.
The presumed cause of the seashells of the metrics of the electrostatic magnetic spectrum of the code programming AI manipulative force is equal to such of the... come on, you have no idea what you're talking about, Flatzoid. Let's rewind that. Let's just go through what he just said. Does this actually make any reasonable sense?
Manipulate gravity because you can't manipulate gravity.
Yeah.
The independent variable in a scientific experiment is always the presumed cause.
The independent variable in a scientific experiment is always the presumed cause of the resultant effect. That's very true, but you just said you can't manipulate gravity, so therefore gravity isn't going to be a thing that you are changing. Therefore, it's not going to be the thing that you say is the cause of the change. It's the constant. It's always there. Don't sidestep it, Mr. Flatzoid. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to mystify me with a bunch of scientific jargon and failing miserably because you yourself do not understand the words which you yourself are saying. Note to self, never watch Mr. Flatzoid's channel again. This is literally killing my brain cells just by watching it. I'm going to have to go and drink 4 pints of vodka to recover myself after watching this. Such is the moronic stupidity of this man.
That has to be manipulated.
Yeah, I know why you're stumbling over your words, Flatzoid. It's because you have confused yourself. Such is the idiocy of that sentence. You have actually pulled the wool over your own eyes and tripped over and fallen down.
To get the outcome, which would be the dependent variable. So when they claim a vacuum chamber, for instance, and they drop something in a vacuum chamber, what was the independent variable manipulated?
Can you actually get a word out, Flatzoid? Like, that sentence, not only did it make no sense and contain several mistakes, you physically were unable to say it. So what he's talking about is an experiment done with a vacuum tube in which is contained a coin and a feather. And since you're inside of a vacuum, there is no drag or air resistance or, buoyancy or viscosity if you're an idiot like Flatzoid and you're talking about liquids in a vacuum. And what happens when you turn the tube upside down, the coin and the feather drop at the same rate. So regardless that one thing weighs a lot and one thing doesn't weigh a lot, they are both equally represented when they accelerate towards gravity because there is no air friction to slow down the feather, and it will fall at the same rate as the coin. That's what he's talking about here. But in true Flatzoid style, he completely cocked up the explanation and then got to a faulty conclusion at the end and told you it was the truth. The reason this upsets me so much, this is on my friend's channel who claims to be a Christian apologetic. Look at the left-hand corner there, Christ is King. Christ is King, yes, but Christ also says Genesis page 1 is true. So all of this is a blasphemy. But anyway, let's carry on with Flatzoid's moronic, ridiculous pseudo-scientific nonsense and garbage. Take it away, Flatzoid.
The medium. They took the air out that was there and vacuumed it. They vacated the air inside it. Now there's less air. So I'm going to ask you another question. This again. Imagine this in a chamber filled with air. It's already heavier than the air around it.
It's already heavier because despite the fact that you've put it inside a vacuum, the vacuum and the object are still affected by gravity. Otherwise, as we went through earlier, its weight would equal 0 and it would not be accelerating down towards gravity because its weight would be 0 and there would be no gravity to cause weight, no gravity to cause downward acceleration.
Yep.
Now when I take the air away, now there's even less to be able to support it. What will happen? It will just fall easier.
So what? This is so dumb. What he's saying is, see how this object falls and then we put it inside a vacuum and it still falls? It's nothing to do with gravity. It's like, it is. Like, we've gone through every single thing you have said has been totally wrong. Absolutely just, there is no saving grace. There's no redeeming feature to this video or any of your excuses, Mr. Flatzoid. Let's just make this quick. This video is utter garbage, and so is your channel, and so are you, Mr. Flapzoid. But let's carry on.
Again, displacement ratios between the object and the medium.
Can we just make a note here? You have spent 2 minutes and 57 seconds not answering the question which I fairly asked the guy on the left. I didn't even ask you. He was failing to answer it. For 6 months or 5 months, however it was since I last asked him, hasn't come out with a 5-minute video. You've come out with an 8-minute video. And so far, you've spent 2 minutes and 57 seconds of your 8 minutes completely proving that gravity is real. Every single word of what you've said demonstrates gravity. What are you going to come out with next? Like, you have proven gravity with what you've said today. Do you realise this, Mr. Flatzoid, that you have proven gravity while claiming gravity is not real? Are you mentally insane? Or are you just totally thick? I suppose you could be both. Anyway, let's carry on.
I am still waiting. I've been asking this for 8 years now. Can anybody show me any scientific hypothesis and experiment for gravity?
Yeah, there are plenty, and we've shown them to you. That's how dishonest you are, Flatzoid. You ask questions, we answer them. You ask for evidence, we show you. Then when we ask you to back up your claims, you chicken out like a little bitch.
Well, as a matter of fact, I absolutely can. Let's have a look at the latest video I did, which he's already disliked, by the way. Proving gravity. Good afternoon and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Just a little science experiment for you. Can we figure out if viscosity is the cause of downward movement with buoyancy and with density, relative density considered? As you can see here, I have a glass of water which has found its own level, a proof of gravity. I also have a pressurized can of Vanish carpet foam, which I'm going to spray into the water to demonstrate.
Wait, is that Vanish or is that Glimmer? I prefer Glimmer.
That gravity is a thing, not just in the air or underwater, but also on the surface of water. And in doing so, I'm going to disprove all of the things that Flatzoid has previously claimed in this one experiment. This is my Mona Lisa, if you like, so let's have a look. Since I know this is what the flat earthers are going to try and peddle you as the reason why gravitational falling happens, when in fact it is gravity. So, here is a glass of water. Standard water viscosity is 0.001. Here is carpet foam from Vanish. The viscosity is 3.1. So this is 3.1 times as viscous as this fluid here. So that means, according to the flat earthers, this should sink in that. Correct? You know, since this number is lower than this number, that should technically go to the bottom, right? What I'm saying here is, if relative density, viscosity and buoyancy are all causing the effect of gravity, and the medium is water, and the object is foam, which is 3 times more viscous than the water, more dense than the water, heavier than the water, then it should sink, shouldn't it?
Yep.
But if it is not in fact those things...
This is Daily Corvid. I'll put his link in the chat. But he's been around for a while. He's pretty good.
If it is just 3.1 times more viscous, but not heavier, because mass and relative density are not the same as weight, then it proves that gravity is in effect both over the water, the air in the top of the cup, and also the foam. And when I shake it about and excite it, it still won't be able to go past the water. And the reason will be gravity. Let's see whether that actually is what we see. Oh, look at that. It's funny that, isn't it? So your relative density and your viscosity claims don't hold any water, because the proof of this experiment is, despite the fact that you said this is more viscous than this, because viscosity equals gravitational constant, what I should have said there is this equals this because you said gravitational constant equals viscosity. Like, I didn't complete the sentence there, but what Flatzoid is saying is the foam should sink through the water because the foam is more viscous than the water, despite the fact that we can see that is not happening. We can see here that this, even though it is more viscous than this, does not descend down to the bottom of the water. Therefore, we know gravity is affecting the water more than it's affecting this, despite the fact that this has more viscosity.
Blender 5.0.
But please carry on with your 3.5 to 4 hour waffle stream, giving people a load of false excuses and pseudoscience as to why this isn't happening. Why is this happening? You won't be able to answer. The same as you didn't answer the previous 2 questions, despite my tariff of saying I will give you £2,000 if you can answer these questions. Yeah, so the thing is, it's not like I have £2,000 to throw down the drain. But I know for a fact, because I'm good at science, and I have studied these things, and I've done the experiment, there is 0% chance that I will be paying out any money to these 2 idiots. The fact that they took me up on this challenge at all just demonstrates their complete ignorance of science. So that's the story on buoyancy and the ridiculous claims that Flatzoid makes. So we're getting towards the end now. I feel like the best stuff's going to be towards the back of this video. So let's carry on. Take it away.
I'll be back.
Away, Flatzoid. Flatzoid.
Hey, George. Good to have you here.
Okay.
Till this day, I have not got one. I do get people claiming things like Cavendish, but Cavendish is not even an experiment. Cavendish has not got an independent variable and a dependent variable.
The Cavendish experiment did actually demonstrate gravity, but he just doesn't understand it. Let's have a look, actually, just quickly. We're not going to go through the whole thing because it's quite complicated. Cavendish experiment. Here we are, the Cavendish experiment. Cavendish's diagram of his torsion pendulum. So he's got pendulums swinging around and he's measuring the amount of swing and the angle that they go to and how long it takes them to stop. Now, obviously, if there were no gravity, it would swing indefinitely forever because there'd be nothing to, there'd be nothing to slow it down. And like we have already noted, everything apart from gravity takes energy away and resists energy. So that means if the only thing affecting your balls is gravity, then they will go straight down. But if you stop them from going straight down, i.e. if you attach them to something like this, then the thing will come to a stop at its natural point of least resistance. So once again, it proves that gravity is real. Whether or not you like it, Flatzoid and co, this also demonstrates that gravity is real. So far you give me 5, 6 excuses. Each one of them has been poorly explained, badly evidenced with incorrect facts and poor science. And the truth, the accurate science behind what you have been trying to tell us is that gravity is actually real. Well done, Mr. Flatzoid. You have demonstrated that gravity is real in your video saying gravity debunked in 5-minute challenge.
Cavendish was actually created as a means to calculate, yes, calculate, its mean density. It was not made to prove gravity.
No, it wasn't, but it did prove gravity anyway. The same way as...
Right, it didn't prove gravity. That's not what it was designed for. But it used the gravitational constant in order to do what you understand it did.
An education system which you went through was not designed to turn out a blithering idiot like you, but it still managed it. So sometimes you get outliers.
Good point.
Mr. Flatzoid, and that's what I think you have become. The rest of the planet recognises that gravity is observably real, and we have various technologies that demonstrate its usefulness, like GPS, satellites, mobile phone communication, satellite internet. But you are the outlier. You not only don't believe that any of these things work, you want to say that gravity is not real, despite the fact that you're sat in a chair being affected by it, with a cup of tea next to you that's also affected by it, and coming out with a list of excuses which demonstrate its reality, that it's true. You are an utter moron and a waste of time. But anyway, we're going to give you the respect of the rest of your video, so let's carry on.
It is just simply torque vectoring due to the weight on a...
Yes, due to the weight which wouldn't exist without gravity.
Rod. Do I need to go on?
Yeah, it's torque vectoring.
You will go on. You will go on and on until the day you die because you are an ignorant moron who knows nothing about science and also a stubborn, philandering, evil, lying manipulator, psychopathic trickster who relies on other people's ignorance in order to sell t-shirts and mugs. But that's just a theory, so let's carry on.
It's very easy to show gravity wrong.
Keep going.
Heck, do you not think God would have told you about gravity in the Bible?
I think God actually did tell us about gravity in the Bible, but once again, just because you don't study these things, it seems to have passed you by. So let's go to another previous video I did that demonstrates that God did in fact tell us about gravity. Which one of these? Is it number 2? Observable flatness. Biblical flat earth. Here we go. I like this one. You'll enjoy this video. Another very popular flat earth theory is that it's biblical that the earth is flat. Note to self, it is not a popular theory. There's only a few flat earthers who will bother to say this. Most flat earthers are actually Muslims. So it's a popular Quran science theory, is what I should have said. So let's have a look at the Bible. We'll read the verses. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not. We're going to do it logically. Is the Bible telling us the earth is flat or not? Let's have a look. We're going to use Genesis. Now, the reason we're using Genesis is the only time in the entire New or Old Testament where we see the entire earth described in the eyes of God from space as he's creating it. So there's no other verses apart from Genesis which describe how the earth would look. And if it's a flat plate, it would look like this. Now, remember, with no gravity, people can't live on the bottom of it because they will fall off. That's how the flat earthers believe in it. Even though there's no gravity, they would still drop off. That's why. Think how retarded that is. Even though there's no gravity, the reason they can't live underneath the flat earth is because they would fall off. Pray tell, how are they falling off and why are they falling down if there's no gravity? It's absolutely moronic. And also, the complaint they made after I made this video is, Daily Corvid doesn't know his Bible, God isn't the sun. But they haven't read Genesis. At this point, the sun hasn't been created. There is only God. And God says, let there be light. So we suppose that the light is emanating from the point at which God has emanated it. So it's accurate to put God at the centre of the emanating light. But let's carry on. I like this video. You will too. Well, they can't live underneath it. But if it's a flat plate and God's light is above it, and God has separated the light from the darkness, and there is morning, evening and night all during this first day, so it's all happening simultaneously, and we know that light only travels in a straight line, that would mean that the entire thing will be lit up while the light is present, and there would be no part of it that wasn't lit up. So that means there can't actually be morning when there's less light, and there certainly can't be a night time, unless the entire light has gone away. So we know from that it's impossible for the Bible to be true and also for the earth to be flat. So no, it's false to say that the Bible describes a flat planet. And we also know that it's a blasphemy to claim that the Bible is not telling us the truth, especially the part of Genesis which is page 1, God himself telling us. And now, I don't care if you are a Christian, a Muslim, an atheist, a Buddhist, it doesn't matter what you are. Purely on a theoretical basis, right? If we just say, if God is real and God wrote Genesis, do you think God in Genesis...
You bet, Lindsay. All hail the great Atuin.
...is going to be more accurate than...
Or Atun.
...Flatzoid on his Today YouTube? If the Bible was just written by very intelligent men who managed to con the world into thinking that they were God, and they described the earth as spherical and with gravity that spins, do you think they are more trustworthy on the mechanics of how earth is made than Flatzoid and his crooked theories? Either way, you're going to pick not Flatzoid. So let's try that example again if we have a spherical ball earth. So this time we're going to have a spherical ball earth, you know, the one the flat earthers really hate, and we're going to have exactly the same scenario. So because there is gravity and there is a circular earth this time, when God appears with his light and throws light on the earth, we can indeed have morning, evening and night all at the same time simultaneously, because there are people living all the way round now rather than just on one side of a flat object. So that means the morning, where there is less light but it's not dark yet, is at the sides where the sunlight is hitting the earth, but it isn't hitting it full on, and therefore there is phasing. There's like a gradient towards the night time where there is absolutely no light on the other side. And we can conclusively see here, without gravity this would not be happening, because nobody would be able to live on anywhere. We would all just be floating around in space. And if we were able to float around in space without dying, we would just be space gypsies, wouldn't we? We wouldn't even live on the Earth. So we know the fact that there is daylight, evening, morning and nighttime all happening during the first day, which is how God himself describes it, there must be a rotating spherical Earth with gravity in order for that to happen. So in conclusion of that one, I think we can say you are once again wrong, Mr. Flatzoid. So I feel like we're getting to the end now. Let's rush through the last few points and then we can detonate him at the end with a little bit of biblical truth.
I think so. He didn't. But he did tell us God was there when he laid the foundations. God was very specific when he said, who was there when I laid the foundations and drew the line upon the earth?
If I draw a...
Drew the line upon the earth. What line? What line?
Line from here to Calcutta, even though I'm drawing a straight line, is it going to be an actual straight line? No. How do we know this? Well, we know this because even though we can only see straight lines because our field of view is very limited, if we zoom all the way out, we can actually see a curve. And this is actually proven out by the fact that if you watch a ship sailing over the horizon, note to self, a horizon is proof of curvature, we see the tip of the boat appear and the rest of it disappear behind the horizon. So why would the bottom of a boat start disappearing as it goes over the horizon, but the top still be visible? Well, it's because there is a curve, Mr. Flatzoid.
Mm-hmm.
Not a globe.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as it's as simple as boats going over the horizon of the earth and cars going over the horizon of an overpass. It's as simple as that, man. Same thing happens. The earth is curved, boats get blocked bottom up, an overpass is curved, cars get blocked bottom up. I mean, it's as simple as that.
No gravity needed.
Wouldn't the gravity pull in all the planets in space, even though they go in eclipses? So you have they go like that, and they go.
So hang on a minute, Adam. There's other planets in space, is there? But I thought you said there was a glass firmament over the top of the Earth, which meant we couldn't leave Earth's atmosphere, and outside of that was only heaven. So where are you getting these other planets from, and why are they in elliptical orbits? Plus, if they are orbiting another larger object, i.e. the Sun, why would they be pulled into the Earth? No, it doesn't make any sense. See, what we're seeing here is confusion. Adam is confused because he has halfway understood gravity, and he's trying to bend the facts to fit his kooky little theory that there is no gravity. So what he ends up with is a Frankenstein's monster with a bolt through its head of half gravity and half flat Earth, and it just doesn't work.
Go sharp, and then they manage to hold themselves together. Wouldn't they all just clump together in one big lump?
What, you mean like when the Earth was first formed? When it was formless and without shape, and then it turned into a big round lump? Do you mean like that? Yes, it would, if the Earth was actually the Sun. But unfortunately for you, and fortunately for the rest of the non-moronic human species, we understand that the Sun is the largest object in our solar system, and that is why all the planets orbit around it, not around the Earth. The only thing that orbits around the Earth is the Moon, and the only people who don't believe in the Moon, that they think it's a fake projection made by Allah, is the Muslims. So I think we can conclusively say here the Bible doesn't agree with flat Earth. It says the opposite. And the only religious people who think the Earth is flat are Muslims.
Well, that's the thing. When they try and demonstrate gravity working, they usually take like a little trampoline or something, and they put a bowling ball in the middle and they spin a marble around. What happens eventually, it hits that marble, it hits that bowling ball. We never see this.
We actually...
Yeah, we do. When Skylab crashed to Earth because it fell out of its orbit. Yes, we do see this.
We have seen this, just not with Earth, the Moon and the planets in the solar system. Because it's been quite some time since those planets have been orbiting around, the things which weren't in a consistent orbit have hit their associated planets. And in fact, you can Google search now, and I'm going to do that. Comet hitting Earth. Notable asteroid impacts. So how do you think these happen? When an asteroid hits the Earth, how do you think that happens? Why did it collect enough momentum in space to be going this quickly and then come out of its original orbit and land upon the Earth? Well, it's because it was in an orbit, but it was an asynchronous orbit, i.e. the orbit was changing bit by bit on each revolution, and eventually it was facing the wrong way, left the orbit of the planet it was on, went in a straight line through space until it was caught by the orbit of another planet, and then it crashed onto that planet, i.e. this picture here and what we're seeing in there. That is why asteroids, comets, and other stellar objects fall to this planet. They get caught in our gravity well, and they fall to the surface, like we can see here. So, once again, unsurprisingly, Flat, Zoid, and Adam have proven that they know nothing about science and that the things they are saying demonstrate that gravity is real.
Also, they have what we call the three-body problem. They are not able to perfectly work out using the math for gravity as a force, or not even a force, why those bodies work the way they do. Because gravity doesn't exist.
Okay, so the three-bodied problem. Let's see if that's actually a real thing. No, it's a film by someone about aliens. Three-bodied problem. Three-bodied problem. Nope, I don't actually think it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh look, even BBC think it's a fiction. Should we just go through that again to make sure we're doing this justice?
The math for gravity as a force. Also, they have what we call the three-body problem.
Yep, he definitely said three-bodied problem. Three-bodied problem. Three-bodied problem science. Here we go. So, in physics, specifically classical mechanics, which, by the way, describes gravity, machinery of spacecrafts, planets, stars, and galaxies. Classical mechanics is gravity. But carry on. The three-bodied problem is to take the initial positions and velocities of 3 points of mass that orbit one another in space. So straight away, why are they orbiting each other? They're orbiting each other because of gravitational attraction.
Exactly.
So the problem that he's describing here is not one that doesn't have gravity involved in its calculation.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. Gravity, 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 gravity. Each one of these has got G for gravity in there. Need I say more? Let's continue.
They are not able to perfectly work out using the math for gravity as a force, or not even a force, why those bodies work the way they do. Because gravity doesn't exist.
Oh, is that so? Because it looked suspiciously like the opposite of that when we just looked it up and they had the little graphic of the three spinning bodies. It distinctly looked to me like you had a centre mass, which is the largest object generating the gravity field, and the other three objects were passing each other closely, and it was...
Yes, Cygnus, you were correct. Yes, the problem isn't that it can't be solved. The problem is how complex is the solution.
Ever so slightly skewing their orbits, so it was making them, you know, they were still orbiting, but they were just changing their position slightly. So it proves that gravity does exist. The three-bodied problem is a problem of gravity. It's not a problem of no gravity. But you'll say absolutely anything to sell those mugs and t-shirts, won't you? You're even wearing one and drinking out of one right now. Note to self, never buy this guy's cheap Chinese broken plastic merch because it is a con.
I think that's about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What else can we say?
I mean, if the moon pulls in the waves on the Earth, would it not pull itself into the Earth?
This guy's such a dumbass. So, we know that the lunar effect on waves is that it causes tides. We know that the reason that the moon orbits the Earth is because it's caught in a gravitational orbit. And we know that the reason it doesn't get pulled towards the sea is because the sea doesn't have enough gravitational pull to attract it any further. So between the sun pulling on the Earth and the moon pulling on things itself because it has a small amount of gravity, and the Earth's gravity, that is the three-bodied problem. And guess what? The moon, the Earth and the sun are never going to crash into each other. That's a fact. So no, you've just conclusively proven in your 5-minute video that gravity is real, but also you've proven that you are a blithering maniacal idiot.
If it can just generate the waves.
Things are supposed to pull closer to each other. And also another issue they have with gravity is, about 110 years ago, Einstein came up with the theory of general relativity, which preceded Newtonian gravity. Newtonian gravity is based on a force. Einsteinian gravity is based on not a force.
Can we prove that just before we end this video? Einstein's theory of relativity force. Is gravity a not force? Let's have a look. I can't believe he said that. It's so dumb. Oh, this is a long one, isn't it? Right. Find gravity.
See, children talk like that, Flatzoid. It's a not force. It's a not a force. What the fuck, dude?
There we go. Right. Newton's law of universal gravitation, that's the basis of Einstein's thesis, describes classical gravity as a force. We know that. Let's have a look just so we can prove it. Gravity in the universe is a force that is proportional to the product of their mass and inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So it's like that. There we go. That's the exact equation I showed you in my video earlier. So we know, and the Cavendish experiment is actually listed there as a proof conducted by a scientist, i.e. not an idiot like this guy. And all these things demonstrate that gravity is in fact real. So I don't think we need to watch the rest of this video now. We gave you more than your fair share. We gave you more than 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes you managed to demonstrate that gravity is in fact real. So just before we go, I want to show you one more thing.
Oh. Will you knock it off? I can't hear myself think. I want some peanuts. That's better.
And so that is the last page of the Chronicles of the Flat Earth Ignoramuses. Until
there you go.
Of course, Adam comes up with his 5-minute video, or does the right thing, and admits that he was wrong. So that's all for...
Oh, admit that he's wrong. That'll never happen. That will never, ever happen, because idiots will never admit that they're stupid. Never will. Just checking this thing. And, yeah, that's all I got for you. That's all we have for tonight. I'm going to go play some Tarkov. Hey, Lisa. God damn it. What? How long have you been here? Did I miss you? I'm sorry, Lisa. Anyway, that's all we've got. We'll talk.